Dear viewers, thank you for choosing Manhwa Compilation Channel. Enjoy watching. In a stony land where nothing had grown for decades, only dried trees stood. Lightning struck. Just a bit more, and a fire would have ignited, but a downpour quenched it. Lying under the raging sky's arch with outstretched arms was Lu Chen. He was not like everyone else. In his previous life, he had been in an accident, killing the driver. Misfortune had been his constant companion, as in another time. His parents had also perished. The villagers cursed him because a drought had persisted for several years since his birth. As a student, he had embroiled his companions in trouble. "Run! You're the clan's genius! We will definitely protect you!" These were his friend's last words. Now, it was finally his turn. He opened his eyes, feeling absolutely nothing. The rain struck his face, and the wind tangled his hair. The weather continued to rage, as if blaming him for all the troubles. "I'm going to die," he thought. System notification. You have died. On the floating island of the 8 clans, the weather was simply perfect. Neither wind nor scorching sun could disturb the tranquility of nature. Cranes circled around the Temple of Wan. A small group of people were headed towards the building. "Ah, you're finally back. We were so close to disaster this time," one of the guys said, inhaling the pure air deeply. "Yes, but we made it through thanks to our brother, Lu." Another voice carried gratitude. Brother Lu, Fanjir, a 17-year-old 7th-level cultivator and member of the clan, leaped towards one of the youths. Her pink dress complemented her face beautifully. "Sister Fan, where did you come from?" Lu Chen, an 18-year-old 7th-level cultivator, was clearly not expecting to see his friend here. "We all missed you so much." Without slowing down, she jumped on Lu, hugging him tightly. The surrounding guys were clearly a bit embarrassed but tried not to show it. As soon as Fan released him from her embrace, he asked, "Sister Fan, what about the master?" "The founder is waiting for you in the main hall of the Temple of Wan, and my master is there too." "Thank you!" Lu ran joyfully into the temple. "First, let me tell you about our main character. As I mentioned, his name is Lu Chen, and he's an unlucky time traveler. After his death, he arrived on the floating island and became a being unworthy of others' attention. According to Buddhism, living beings belong to a group of living entities subject to illusion, creation, and rebirth, known as samsara. At the age of 12, he became an orphan, but last year, he became a personal disciple of the founder of the Temple of Wan. That's when he began training to achieve immortality. Taking his determination seriously, he transformed from an unremarkable boy into a highly respected man. He believed that he must become the strongest to control his destiny and protect those close to him. With folded hands in a greeting, he turned to Zhou Linyan, the founder of the Temple of Wan, a 9th-level master, and the people around him. "Hello, Master. Hello, Elders." "Lu Chen, this time you led the team admirably." The founder was pleased with his work. "I've already reached the 7th level, all thanks to your diligent training," Lu replied, honoring his master. From the side, there were murmurs of astonishment and admiration. 18 years old and already a 7th-level cultivator? He's one of the young geniuses of the floating island, but he's still far from Fan Shuir, not to mention Xinyu. Mu Zhongkui, a temple elder and a 3rd-level master, observed closely, his gaze critical. Standing behind Lu, with an air of disdain, was Xiao Xinyu, a 9th-level clan genius, 19 years old, and Lu's rival. Goodness, not only had they pointed out his flaws, but they had done it in front of everyone. However, Zhou continued with praise. "Lu Chen's essence is unique. His abilities are extraordinary. You shouldn't undermine the master's trust." He was referring to himself. "I'm listening," Lu replied, though he wasn't sure what made him unique. But Zhou wasn't finished. He stood up, facing Lu directly as if ignoring everyone else. "Lu Chen, now that you've returned safely, we can move on to arranging the funeral." Although the elders had remained nearly motionless, the founder's decision shocked Lu. "Master, is it really? Master, is it you?" "I want to ascend to the heavens," confirmed the founder. The elders' suspicions were correct. On the floating island, monks achieve full awakening through Mahayana, the great vehicle of Buddhist practice. By following this path, Buddhists strive to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all living beings, and then heavenly lightning may strike. If the lightning strike is successful, the monk may attain immortality. However, it's said that due to the island's weather changes, heavenly lightning hasn't descended for 3,000 years. It's also uncertain how much time the founder has left to attain enlightenment. Don't worry, I will naturally achieve enlightenment, Lu Linyan reassured. You know my techniques. I plan to outwit the ancient immortals with my deceitful techniques, so the master may summon heavenly lightning. I will become the first immortal on the floating island in 3,000 years. The Temple of Wan and the floating island will enter a new era of prosperity. Zhou was absolutely confident of his success, but Zhongkui wasn't as certain. Although he didn't show it, there was still a small seed of doubt in his soul. Lu Chen, we'll meet tomorrow at the Dragon Hour, somewhere between 7 and 9 a.m. The founder extended his hand with a yellow energy flow towards Lu. After a moment of puzzlement, Lu's expression changed from "what's happening" to "why him?" He held the founder's token in his hands. Fan Shuir whispered in excitement, "The founder is passing on his legacy to brother Lu?" Lu pressed the token to his heart and obediently thanked the master. "I understand." Zhou concluded the conversation. "Now go." Meanwhile, on the temple porch, they discussed what had just happened. "Brother, haven't you heard? If a person attains the Tao, all his relatives and friends also receive positions. Don't deny it. Deep down, you're pleased about it. Brother, as you climb the ladder of success, don't forget about Shuir." She reminded him about herself. They had just moved away from them. Leaning against a column railing, stood Xin. "Sister Xiao," Chen addressed her. "Brother Lu, congratulations on reaching the 7th level. But it's still not enough." As she passed by him, she headed to the temple. If a person's virtue does not match their status, failure is inevitable. Rely on yourself. The same goes for strength and training. The last words, instructions, echoed to them. "Brother, don't listen to her." Lu Fan tried to support. But deep down, he knew that Xiaoxin was right. The 7th level. He needed to achieve more. Cultivation is a challenging task. Cultivation is linked to the 6 great realms, each with 10 levels within them. Every time you reach a new level, you need to put in even more effort. Countless people have suffered defeat. Although he wasn't entirely sure what made him special, he would show his master what he was capable of. At the hour of the dragon, Lu Chen and Zhou Linyan met on the mountain. The weather was beautiful. The sun was shining, as if trying to share its warmth with everyone. The grass was green, and birds were singing. In short, nothing foreshadowed trouble. "As a teacher, I must withstand a strike of heavenly lightning, and you will watch from the sidelines," the temple's founder said. "So fast!" Lu barely had time to think. "This is a clan secret, as well as the peculiarity of your essence," he said the phrase in a strange way, as if not saying something. "Understood," was all he could reply. Meanwhile, the master began to chant, "Earth and sky, the beginning of everything, there are no other sources. For 10,000 years we have proven this with words and deeds." He rose into the sky. Small red lightning bolts seemed to bind him. Among the 3 spheres, only Tao is the only true path. "This is a technique of deception," Lu noticed. Zhou Linyan continued, "The golden dragon covers the soul and body. I see nothing, I hear nothing. All living beings encompass, nurture the heavens and the earth. The dissemination of 10,000 sacred scriptures will illuminate the soul. 3 spheres protect the 5 legendary emperors who ruled and governed everything. Pantheon of gods, accept me, heavenly lightning." The sky darkened, and it seemed like the clouds hung so low that you could almost touch them. A strong wind blew, almost knocking Lu off his feet. "Summoning!" The master's face expressed maximum concentration, and his eyes almost bulged from the tension. He floated in the sky, and hundreds of small lightning bolts seemed to embed themselves in the master's body. At the same time, in the sky among the other lightning bolts, the most massive one appeared. Several dozen slightly smaller lightning bolts began to strike around Lu, causing him confusion. Zhou's reaction put him in a state of shock. "Master, the lightning is about to strike me." Dodging among the lightning bolts, trying to hit him, Lu ran to the spot where Zhou Linyan was in the air. But now he was not a kind mentor who tried to share nuggets of wisdom with everyone, and it seemed that only bright forces moved him, and a person who used him for his own purposes. One movement of his hand, and Lu no longer controlled his own body. The master raised him up and then threw him down with all his might. Hey, huh? Don't you understand? Why am I not saving you? The voice of the master contained mockery. Chen did not understand what was happening, but he understood one thing. Zhou Linyan was not the person to be trusted. Why does the heavenly lightning want to strike you? The master enjoyed what was happening, because the person who summoned the heavenly lightning was you. On these last words, Zhou Chen was speechless, not believing his ears. Chapter 2. The person who summoned the heavenly lightning was me? Zhou decided to raise him into the air again, but this time headfirst. Lu Chen, on Poyasni Island in the last 3,000 years, you are the only one who has the ability to summon natural elements. Such power is kept and secretly passed down only in the Temple of Vans, the master explained, throwing Lu into the ravine. From the very beginning, your essence was 1,000 elements. Your teacher reread ancient writings about changing the course of celestial phenomena. Oh, just a year before your parents' death, he concealed, revealing the secret of his existence. Father, mother, he loved his parents and mourned them bitterly. At that moment, it felt as if they took away the source of his life. Sometimes, in difficult times, your essence is enough, but sometimes you need a little push. So it was you. After years, he still couldn't forget the scene that made him feel guilty forever. In front of them, a multi-headed serpent with glowing red eyes, a dark entity, stood, writhing. A little more, and it seemed like it would tear everyone to shreds, although it wasn't entirely clear whether it was thunder or the master's sinister laughter. Run! You are a clan genius. We will definitely protect you. In a battle with Zhou in the form of a snake, they died, the two people closest to Lu Chen's heart. Ha ha ha. These little people, however, did not die in vain. It was no longer clear whether the thunder was rumbling or the master's malicious laughter. After their sacrifice, you finally achieved eternal essence. It was clear that the master was celebrating Lu's achievement, but he only celebrated because now Lin Yan could achieve his goal. You cannot achieve immortality on Poyasni Island, but you, my student, have truly lived up to the teacher's expectations. An enormous heavenly vortex formed above him, at the beginning of which the largest lightning bolt appeared. Zhou was ready to become immortal. But even this earth cannot escape divine retribution, the master continued to gloat. Disgusting, thought Lu. But the worst part of this situation was that he had tried to become stronger to protect himself and his loved ones, and to choose his own destiny. And in the end, he had essentially lost. Zhou Linyan, you scoundrel! He knew his powers were not enough to change what was happening, but he was furious. He drew his sword and tried to reach Zhou, but it was futile. Haha, Lu Chen, do not forget how much good I did for you. Do you know why you haven't been struck by lightning yet? It's because your teacher is protecting you. The master tried to make his student feel ungrateful. Here, Lu realized that the wooden tablet Lin Yan had given him yesterday was enhancing his deception technique. Deception technique. A heavenly lightning struck down on the mountain where they both stood. It seemed as though a red table had been driven into the earth, with an energy perpetually churning within. Zhou was inside the lightning. Zhou Lin Yan! Stop! Lu aimed his sword at himself, hoping it would mean something to the master. But it didn't matter to him, as all the good, as he had called it, was done solely for personal gain. This is your retribution, my student. A hand pointed toward Lu, and with the power and energy, the sword disintegrated into dust. He had no choice but to watch. All that countless time spent cultivating was only for this day. Today, I, Zhou Linyan, will leave this mortal world. I will ascend to the heavens. I alone will achieve awakening. The master rejoiced. He succeeded. Farewell, mortal world. Ha ha ha. and he disappeared in a stream of lightning in the sky. The founder ascended to the heavens. The elders saw the lightning from the temple courtyard. Who would have thought that heavenly lightning would descend to this world? Xiao Xinyu didn't exactly doubt it, but she didn't believe it until the end. And then the lightning and the trace disappeared. The sky once again clouded over, and the only reminders of what happened were the pits, as if craters, and a light rain. It was all true. Memories from past lives rushed into Lu. I was wrong. I trusted the wrong person. All my hopes are shattered. I couldn't protect them. And all because I summon elemental disasters. I am an original sin. System notification, you died. Chen didn't want to accept what happened, but it was indeed true. And I am really dead. This is my second death. In my previous and this life, I became stronger, protected, and sought revenge. I have achieved everything. It's time to die. But why should I? Why should Zhou Linyan become a resident of heaven? Why? 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 Although he thought, it seemed like everyone heard this question. Never dare to take on a sin just because you are weak. Lu himself didn't understand where this voice in his head came from. If the previous system notification notified him that Lu had died, now the system notification showed the following. System activation was successful. Lu Chen opened his eyes wide and couldn't believe he was still in his body. I am still alive? On the one hand, he was glad, but on the other hand, he tried to understand if there was a catch. His injuries disappeared, and his cultivation level also increased. Then a small screen appeared in front of him. Is this a mandatory time travel system? Lu spoke his thoughts out loud. For 18 years he had experienced so much, and now he had to die again. And really? A bitter sigh. But as soon as a new breath entered his lungs, Chen felt a new surge of strength and self-confidence. I won't give up so easily, and pressed the confirm button. The previous image changed to a schematic showing his data. System panel. Name: Lu Chen. Cultivation: 7th level cultivator. Bad luck: 7. Essence: essence of eternity. Technique: technique of immortality. Task: element of the sun. Remaining time: 000564. After reading, Lu decided to continue. System notification: you have already died from lightning. Achievement: elemental beginner level. Resurrect: 1 attempt. Use. Achievement of bad luck, +0. System notification: congratulations, you have successfully activated the system. Open. System notification: accept the task. Element of the sun not completed, for which punishment follows. Remaining time for task completion: 000564. Start. Element of the sun. Punishment. What does it mean? He felt like he was in some kind of puzzle again. Lu had already begun to think it was difficult, but out of the corner of his eye, he noticed that there was a high-level unclean spirit standing behind him. Something like a mixture of wolves and werewolves. Their number was large enough, and Chen wasn't sure if he had enough strength to deal with them. The only way to deal with them was to open the starter pack. This technique had to work. System notification: congratulations, you have received the technique of immortality. System notification: the feature of the technique of immortality. Strengthening true chi. Lu was ready for battle. Attack! And as if on command, the animals pounced on him. I will destroy you. Now, it wasn't the unclean spirits attacking him. He was attacking them. The first few creatures fell dead within seconds. This is the power of heavenly lightning. His body seemed to emit small electric discharges. Seeing how easily some of the unclean spirits lost their lives, the rest decided to give up their positions. They were probably scared, but Lu decided to finish them off. The technique of immortality increased the power of heavenly lightning. Our hero didn't expect this technique to increase his speed and strength. He killed the unclean spirits and earned 7 points of bad luck. But what did he need this bad luck for? Is there a task element of the sun? Should I start it? He thought for a moment. However, he didn't have time to think, and he pressed the start button with full combat readiness. Immediately, thunder rolled through the sky, and lightning began to flash. Again? Lu thought angrily. I didn't expect the system to be so tricky. He decided to hide for a while. Fortunately, the power of this element of the sun barely allowed for a basic attack. System. Chen decided to take a look at it. It seemed that the element of the sun could only be used once a day. After he completed the element of the sun, he earned 5 more points of bad luck. Lu decided to check and struck a stone wall with all his might. From the top of the cave, a small round ball of bluish color fell into his hands. Indeed, I have become much stronger, a worthy system. Well, it's time to return to the Van Temple. He still appreciated it. Thanks to the power of Zhoulin Yan, the great clans entered the Van Temple over 1,000 years. Their powers were impressive. Techniques, elixirs, precious treasures. All of this was extremely necessary for him. But he no longer intended to be the founder's disciple. These elders with their greedy eyes won't be able to make him stay in the position of an heir. True, there was still Xiao Xinyu, but with the system, Lu gained unparalleled abilities. In essence, she was eliminated from his competitors. Furthermore, records of the technique of immortality are hidden in the Temple of Van. I won't give in for anything. He tightly squeezed the blue ball and shattered it in his palm, causing himself pain. If before, Lu Chen always tried to be modest, now his dark side had come to the surface. I will definitely kill you, even if you're immortal, he promised himself. The stars were already shining in the courtyard, and the calm of the night remained undisturbed. However, something made Lu quiet down and listen carefully. He had a feeling that someone was nearby. Who's there? And, without waiting for an answer, he threw his sword where he suspected someone was hiding. Fortunately, it was just Fan Shu, and Chen barely missed her. Fortunately, the weapon plunged into a stone block a few centimeters away from her. Chapter 3. Sister Fan? She was the last person he expected to see here. Brother Lu? And she thought to herself, how did he notice me? Sister Fan, how did you end up here? I was very worried about you. Yesterday the founder attained immortality, and you disappeared somewhere. Lu wasn't even surprised that this was yesterday, as he had spent so much time in unconsciousness. I thought celestial lightning struck you. While Zue chattered merrily, Chen tried to discreetly examine her, trying to determine if she had been injured by his throw. Brother, how are you feeling? I'm fine, don't worry. It seems she knew nothing. I'm okay. The master has ascended to the heavens. I just miss him a little. Ha ha ha. Then asked to become a disciple of my master, Fan suggested, hugging the guy from behind. Isn't your master Mu Junquei in good relations with Zhou Linyan? If he won't seek revenge on me, I'll thank him, Lu thought. He didn't show with his appearance that his sister's offer was unpleasant to him. By the way, Mu Junqui is a monk of spiritual power, and Zhui, she was looking for me. He was surprised that she was scared by his absence and worried about him. Okay, let's go back, he suggested, offering her his hand. Meanwhile, 3 days later, there was a meeting in the Temple of Van. Lu Chen, when the lightning struck the founder, you were on top of the mountain watching, right? The elders asked. That's right. Did the awakening of the founder succeed? Yes. Contrary to expectations, the founder was indeed able to summon celestial lightning, said Yuan, the elder of the Temple of Van, a third-level master. For 3,000 years, he's the only one who has succeeded. Xiao Fanen, the elder of the Temple of Van, a first-level master, added. Oh, he's gone forever. Has he forgotten that he's the founder of the Temple of Van? Mu Junqui lamented. Lu tensed. Lu Chen, Zhou Linyan, did the founder reveal to you the secret of summoning celestial lightning? Yuan asked. The other 2 elders looked at him with tension. Ah, they want to use me, Chen guessed. Once the secret of immortality is revealed, he will surely become an instrument for the elders to achieve Mahayana. In other words, though it's true, a puppet with strings. But the system didn't give him a second chance to resurrect, so he won't sacrifice himself for others' whims. No. And even if I had revealed it, you would have been the first to know this secret. The master must have left something for the clan, he assured, placing his hand over his heart. Damn, am I not destined to ascend to the heavens from the floating island? Yuan was slightly disappointed. Stop interrogating him, Jun Kui almost ordered. Now that Linyan has achieved immortality, we, the elders of the Temple of Van, must consider choosing a new founder. Right. Now that Zhou Linyan is in heaven, the Temple of Van has lost almost half of its power. We need a worthy successor. A genius who can preserve the glory of the Eight Paths clan. Yuan continued. Lu stood at attention. The Eight Paths clan's land. The Temple of Van is a chaotic floating island. 100,000 years ago, one of the ancestors raised troops to search for immortals. Zhou Linyan led one of the squads. There were many casualties and injuries. But Linyan far exceeded that ancestor, so he became the strongest of the older generation. The temple had a kind of ladder of status. First, the mighty founder Zhou Linyan. Then, the master elders. Masters had their disciples, followers. Next, disciples followers of immortality, and disciples followers of basic principles. They are still too weak, but there are those to whom talent has been passed down by inheritance. Lu Chen, Fan Shu, and Xiao Xinyu are disciples followers of Qi cultivation. The Eight Paths clan fell into obscurity, but then Zhou Linyan appeared. He was chosen on the Council of Elders and gained power. As disciples of the three elders, they could accumulate any resources, up to the most precious ones. One of them could even become the next founder. Lu Chen, Mu Junkui turned to the young man. You joined the clan at 12. You realized it a bit late. Although Linyan valued your abilities, you can only be one of the candidates for now. Xinyu is 19 years old. She's a 9th level cultivator. Shui is 17. She's a 7th level cultivator. They surpass you. Although he didn't say it directly, his words suggested that he was eliminating Lu from the candidates. Ha ha ha. Do you think I'm weak and that's why you're deciding to strip me of my legitimate right to power? Well, in that case, Chen clenched his fist. That's my opinion. Lu Chen, your level of strength does not match the level required for this position. Junkui cut him off, not allowing Lu to say a word. Wait a minute. I've heard for a long time that the Great Elder is known for his excellent insight into violent situations. Haven't you felt it yet? Mockery could be heard in the voice of Linyan's disciple. What? Junkui looked at him in bewilderment. In an instant, the hall of the Temple of Van filled with the illuminating light emanating from Lu. Is this? Have you mastered the limit of heavenly lightning? Junkui was taken aback. What? A limit? How is that possible? He's only 18. Brother Lu? Is that really true? Chen stood in the middle of the hall, staring directly at the head elder. A limit? Just 3 days ago, he was a 6th level cultivator. How did he manage it? Xiao looked at him in disbelief. No wonder my little brother noticed me in the cave, Fan guessed. I awakened my true essence with the help of heavenly lightning. Lu slowly but confidently advanced. All thanks to the additional points for the element of the sun. And just yesterday, I mastered that limit. In 3 days? How is that possible? Cultivating Qi is the most demanding limit. It takes 1 to 2 years to master one limit. What's his innate essence, after all? The onlookers whispered. Lu Chen manifested his essence. So young and yet so much energy. This is an omen for the Temple of Van. Yuan clapped his hands with satisfaction. He's almost catching up to Qingyu's strength, Xiao Fenin noted. I'll reach the limit soon too. Xiao Qingyu replied somewhat offended. Fan only gave her a glance. Oh, in that case, it seems that the choice will be between the 3 of you after all, Junkui concluded. No need. Lu came almost face to face with him. Before the master ascended to the heavens, he already appointed me. Stepping up to the vacant throne, he extended a wooden tablet given to him by Zhou days before all of this. I, Lu Chen, the rightful founder of the Temple of Van. And he showed the tablet to the entire temple. Chapter 4. What? What? Impossible. Xiao Qingyu thought for the umpteenth time today that luck smiled on anyone but her. Although Fan Zhuer was looking into Lu's eyes, almost rejoicing for him. He's holding the founder's tablet. Is he lying? Suppose he reached the limit, then it means his strength is on par with the chief disciples, the followers, and that's it. Right. He won't become a powerful founder, it's a big responsibility. The other disciples whispered among themselves. How could Lin Yan pass the power to you? It's simply absurd, Fan Zhuo assured. I'm the founder's personal disciple. What's stopping me from inheriting the master's position? Besides, if it's not me in his place, who else, if not one of the three elders? Lu looked them in the eyes. Stop talking nonsense. She tried to be more specific. Ha ha ha. The elders know their worth. You, one of the chief disciples of the followers, think I'm not worthy of becoming the founder? Chen addressed the audience and asked for their opinion. Yes, I think, the disciple replied. Then let me ask you a question. Who is more likely to ascend to the heavens? A master who hasn't let himself bloom for many years? Or a young disciple who has reached the limit? The disciple couldn't find an answer. Lu continued. Originally, in the Temple of Van, young disciples were selected to conceal the master's power. You don't care what other schools think if they choose someone weaker than the previous one after the master ascends to the heavens. After all, you want to achieve victory at any cost. So young disciples were also selected in the Temple of Van to control their power. He glanced at Shi and Qingyu. Now, thanks to the master's help, I have awakened my abilities, and my strength surpasses the other two candidates. The master has passed the power to me. Just a little earlier, that's all. I am the rightful founder. Elders, do you want to go against the master's will? He asked them. This kid is really clever, talking to the three elders and not even looking in my direction. Haha. The founder's thinking is indeed filled with Dao, Yuan Zhanghai thought. Wait! Xiao Qingyu stepped forward and stood in front of Lu. You're right, but what you're saying is based on the assumption that your abilities are stronger than ours, especially mine. You're looking for an easy way to become the founder and ascend to the heavens. You may have reached the limit before me, but that doesn't mean you surpass me. She turned to him and drew her sword. Lu Chen, I challenge you to a duel. Qingyu, well said. This is fair. Fenin supported her. Fan Xin simply watched the events with tense anticipation. Only one duel. Lu raised a finger and said, What? Qingyu didn't understand. If I can't defeat you in one duel, then no one will stop you from becoming the founder. Well, you've asked for it yourself. She was absolutely 96% sure she would win. She jumped high, gathered all her strength, and focused her energy into her weapon directed at her opponent. This is the Enlightenment Sword of Magic. Qingyu was not sure where to put herself out of excitement. Fenin personally taught her all the techniques, so she was completely confident in her student. This kid has overcome himself many times, but his foundation is unstable, so he probably won't have the strength to defeat Qingyu. Besides, the weapon is powerful, he'll lose. It seemed the elders had already decided who would emerge victorious. This is even better. First we'll remove Lu Chen, stabilize our position, and then gradually... Mu Zhunkui had already begun to plan. However, Qingyu decided to attack first. She was absolutely confident that she would win against her little brother. But he just stood there silently. A moment later, a storm of energy hid what was happening from the eyes of the spectators. Is he okay? It can't be. She used the Enlightenment Sword of Magic. The surrounding disciples were now afraid to look at the center of the hall. Is that all? The energy storm, with burning sparks, dissipated, and Lu emerged completely unscathed. Qingyu couldn't believe her eyes. Quite weak. Little lightning bolts radiated around him. He held the sword in his hand, suppressing its power. How is this possible? Elder Xiao tried to understand, hallucination or reality. Huir only silently shifted her gaze from one to another. Too weak. It can't even compare to the power of the element of the sun. He pronounced judgment, feeling Lu's sword. 3 days had passed since the system was activated, and the power of the element of the sun grew with each passing day. He had to take the place of the founder. He had to gather resources to strengthen his power. He had to take control of everything. He had to kill Zhou Linyan. And every second of his life, He fulfilled this promise. The moment, and he reflected the force coming from Qinyu right back at her. "Sister Xiao, you've upset me." And he pushed her away. Enough. After all, Elder Fenin loved her. But Lu didn't stop. If he needed to eliminate her, he would. One motion of his hand towards her abdomen, and blood poured from her mouth. Another motion, and she flew to the opposite side of the hall, but Fenin managed to catch her. I won, as it should be. Xiao Qinyu had already lost, so now there was only you left among the three candidates. Sister Fan, do you want to fight me? Huh? What? No. As confirmation of her words, Su waved her hands from side to side. Disgusting kid, Junquei thought in his heart, even though he had just planned to kill at least 2 people. Fenin lowered Qinyu's body to the marble floor. I told you to stop, didn't you hear me? I heard. So what? That was his whole answer. Having reached the limit, you've gone mad. Today, I will punish the audacious offspring. Anger and determination raged in her. It's your turn. Chapter 5. Xiao Fenin directed a stream of energy towards Lu in the form of a huge hand. Well, give it a try. See if you can break me. Chen was fully prepared. Little brother Lu, Fan was genuinely concerned about her friend. This old woman is planning to strike so powerfully that this child... Even Junquei began to contemplate the situation. But he soon realized that this child didn't need his help. This can't be. Lu constructed a protective dome of energy around him that prevented her from attacking. Elder Xiao, could you help me? He attempted to negotiate. Just as you reached the limit, you dared to provoke me? Now she also felt the force of his power. If you won't play nice, we'll do it the hard way. And for the second time in the last hour, she brought out the board. In the blink of an eye, it turned into a small sun. What's happening? Those around, especially the students, were afraid to move. When activated, the Founder's Board activated the Van Temple. If the patterns on the walls, ceiling, and floor had previously been mere decoration, what was now before their eyes resembled a massive spiderweb. Whoever had and could use this board also had great courage compared to others. Founder's Board. He opened it. Holding it high above his head, as if showing off, Chen showed it to everyone. Where did you get the strength to open the Founder's Board? Fenin had almost forgotten how he had managed to open it. Interesting. Lu pretended to ponder, feeling superior. Ceiling. As if casting a spell, he directed the board towards Fenin. Heavy, massive iron chains began to reach and bind her, as if she were a criminal. What? Now she wasn't attacking, but trying to at least break free from her chains. The chains tightened even more. This scoundrel, he has a skill. Junquei's plan to quickly get rid of Lu had completely failed. When do you think you'll run out of strength? Chen asked Xiao Fenin, who was still trying to free herself. The chains had her pinned to the ground. I'm afraid your cultivation foundations won't be able to support this much longer. Let's wait until your mana runs out and see what tricks you have left. The small ornaments on the ends of the stick, which formed the basis of his headwear, nervously jingled. Lu sighed. Hey, you guessed right. But since the master passed the position of the founder to me, could I not have any tricks up my sleeve? It seemed as if lightning would start shooting from his eyes any moment. You should have realized that the Founder's Board was blocked. Besides me, no one can control the Founder's Board. After all, he left it to me. Well, Elder Xiao, if you force me to use the Disciple's Mana Reserve, even if you don't die, you'll feel uncomfortable, and the heavens will also be buried with me at the end of the millennium. To acknowledge him as the Founder was still a defeat for Fenin. Madman, this guy is crazy, Xiao kept muttering as she knelt. Ahem. Elder Xiao, since Brother Zhou has decided, let's give Lu Chen a chance, Yuan interjected. Furthermore, without the board, control over ground transport, the warehouse, and the forbidden zone of the secret realm will be inaccessible. You know what that means. Fenin was thinking hard and still trying to free herself. How can this be? Xinyu looked at her mentor with regret. Zhou's nephew. He deserves to be Lin Yan's personal disciple. His spiritual strength is the same as the teacher's. Today, the 3 elders were the first to make a mistake. I can temporarily acknowledge you as the founder, But if you can't bear the responsibility in the future, I will break the seal when I become a master of the highest level. Junkui had essentially acknowledged him as the founder, the great elder Mu Junkui, while he was currently yielding to the incredible power of the seal, would never acknowledge Lu Chen. Dealing with him would be much more difficult than with Xiao Xinyu. Fortunately, when Zhou reached the limit, he used the board to employ a deceptive technique, which led to the fact that the power of heavenly grief remained on this board. Only the canon of eternity and immortality can control it. The fact that Lu can control it is already a coincidence. What a shame. In the end, it's not his power. It was already becoming difficult for him to suppress Xiao Fenin, and the others were just pretending to be ruthless. And he said, "Because of your past merits, I will spare you." He decided to continue playing the role of an emotionless youth. He removed the founder's tablet, and the chains scattered, dissolving into the air. Finally, Lu stepped onto the floor. "Does anyone else have any objections?" he asked those present in the hall. Yuan Jianghai was the first to fold his hands in respect and said, "We humbly request the founder to take his place." The others also folded their hands and bowed before Lu, saying, "We humbly request the founder to take his place." This was the peak of his triumph. With his head held high and a proud demeanor, he ascended the throne. He placed his hands on the armrests and felt a new surge of power. He addressed the people saying, "Starting from this day, I, Lu Chen, am the founder of the heavens. Fan Shuir, Xiao Xinyu, protect me in the name of the law." "Yes," Fan joyfully pledged to him. "Yes," Xiao Xinyu swore, finding it difficult to admit her defeat. Lu continued, "Founder of the heavens, 3 elders, 12 masters, 300 servants, 8,000 disciples, 36 clans. List all those who have established themselves in this temple. Now, I am laying the foundation for Ascension here." The floating island welcomed its founder. System notification. "Congratulations, you have reached the level of the founder, and the philosopher's stone Shanshen has been unlocked." It was time for him to try out new possibilities, Lu thought, smiling. Chapter 6. In the Kingdom of Heaven, a magnificent view opened up from Mount Qingzhou. Hundreds of different types of trees formed a wonderful ensemble with various plants, leaving no square centimeter empty. Life teemed everywhere. Birds flew in the air, chirping merrily. Everything was just as it had been thousands of years ago, except for one thing. An unusual cloud floated above the mountain, from the middle of which descended a massive column of bluish energy. There, Lu Chen trained. A crater had formed right below him, freshly scorched by lightning, and a faint smell of burnt wood still lingered in the air. Everything fell silent for a moment, but soon the forest resumed its lively existence. Lu, dripping with sweat, commented, "I've gone through it all again." It was clear that his training exhausted his body, making him stronger in the process. A strange scar had formed on his forehead, near the hairline on his left eyebrow, as if a little lightning bolt had decided to settle on his face. Apparently, the system parasitized as a scar on his forehead whenever he used its capabilities. He didn't really know where this system had come from. For a while, he stood there, observing the view, and massaging the scar with his fingers. The stolen power stopped flowing more and more. However, the gained power was still rated at only 5 points. Lu contemplated the system and decided to open the system panel. After cultivation reaches the basic level, the number of points required to level up increases by tens of times. If there was no other way to become stronger quickly, his growth rate wouldn't keep up with the stolen power, and he would be killed. Lu Chen decided to check the store. Items needed for cultivation were divided into 4 categories: sky, earth, life, and death. In the store, he didn't have a single celestial stone, the local currency. Skills could be purchased, such as the basics of tempering or understanding the laws of nature, magical weapons like the Sword of Thunder and Wind, and banners of the 5 elements. Various minor items, resurrection pills, wood, artifacts, all of this could help him become stronger. Each class was divided into 3 levels: high, medium, and low. The lowest level goods, with the lowest prices sold by the system, were local products considered treasures. Not to mention, there were items with astronomical prices. For example, while a regular item might cost 15 stones, something like the Chaos Banner was priced at 500 stones, A staff with golden rings was also 500 stones. 108 evil earth spirits were 700 stones. There were even items worth 8,000 stones, such as the immortality pill and the life map for 9,000 stones. This was the currency used in the store. In fact, Lu had never heard of it, and these stones could only be obtained by completing system tasks. He had 3 tasks at the moment. Currently, the task list consisted of the following. First, find the immortality pill. Reward plus 50 stones. Second, consume ancient items. Reward plus N, meaning an undetermined amount depending on the item. Third, overcome the heavenly trial. Reward unknown. Finding the immortality pill was currently an unattainable task for Lu. As for overcoming the heavenly trial, he had no ideas yet. Lu got dressed and slowly walked down the mountain path. Although he didn't know what these ancient items were, there was a chance to find something in the tombs of celestial bodies. At the mountain entrance near the stairs, Fan Shuir and Xiao Xinyu were standing, guarding him. "Brother, have you finished your practice?" Fan exclaimed joyfully. If Shuir still saw Lu as an old friend, Xiao Xinyu, although she secretly harbored a bit of resentment, addressed him as you and sir. "Defending you is very difficult," Lu replied. "Defending? You clearly want to take me hostage to control my grandmother." Xiao Xinyu was referring to Xiao Fenin, her elder and mentor. She probably wouldn't follow Lu's orders if he weren't the founder now, and yet Xiao Xinyu had been quite disdainful toward him. "What happened?" he asked Xiao, as if he didn't understand anything. "You, being the founder's guardian is no small responsibility," Fan chimed in. Passing by Xiao Xinyu, Lu spoke to her, not giving her a chance to speak. "Before my teacher ascended, elder sister Xiao once told me that if you don't deserve your position, misfortune awaits you. I will always remember those words." The last sentence was spoken completely emotionlessly, but it concealed a wide range of emotions. He continued, "Please, calm down. I won't embarrass you. I still have other matters to attend to. You may go." Xiao Xinyu silently watched him as he left. Meanwhile, Lu visited one of the elders, Yuan Jianghai, in his splendid residence. "The founder of the heavens was looking for me. What brought you here?" Lu Yuan asked, pouring drinks into their cups. They sat facing each other in a pavilion, basking in the warmth of the sunlit day. "I must ask you a question, Elder Yuan," Lu began, lifting his cup and revealing the purpose of his visit. "I also want to thank you for your hospitality," he said, making it sound like a toast. "Ha ha, Lu Chen. I truly admire your straightforwardness and lack of hints. You must know that I have known Master Zhou for hundreds of years. He did not set restrictions on the use of the spellboard." Their conversation gradually unfolded, and Lu needed to extract as much information as possible from it. "And?" Lu asked. "Ah, that time, to save the heavens I had to support you. But who knows? Maybe you are hiding your true intentions, if you don't provide a reasonable explanation." Yuan knew what he wanted to say, but decided to leave it unsaid, as what the master wanted to say was too significant, even inexplicable to himself. The challenge was in formulating it. "That's the power of heavenly sorrow," Yuan said, setting down his cup. "The power of heavenly sorrow? How can that be?" The elder realized that it would be a long time before he stopped being amazed, not just by Lu's power, but by his abilities. "Oh, if it were not so, how could the master have chosen me?" Lu turned away, exposing his face to the sun's rays, and slowly but confidently began to confide in Yuan. "I will only speak of this to you, Elder Yuan. I was born with the spirit of thunder, and I have been friends with the power of thunder since birth. Until I reach the appropriate level, I may not be able to replicate the master's spell, to summon heavenly lightning." "What? Summon heavenly lightning?" he exclaimed, raising his voice. Of course, that was a lie. Lu would never risk his own life to guide others on the path of truth. However, when you speak openly, you can easily win people's hearts. Yuan Jianghai may look like a kind old man, but as a great monk of his time, like him, he cannot have no demands. They exchanged glances silently. Mu Junkui and Xiao Fenin have followers, but Yuan is the weakest. The master knew Lu was lying and was ready to help him ascend. He just wanted to profit from it. since Elder Yuan hoped he wouldn't speak in hints, then he would speak directly. He is the chief of the celestial lands. Mu Junkui is too cunning, and Xiao Fenin is the same. Only Elder Yuan has the most followers of our generation. I, Yuan Zhanghai, as the Elder of the Celestial Lands, will faithfully serve you and help you rise even higher. The master pledged, and Lu needed that. Judging by his appearance, it did not seem like a lie. If you think about it, there's a lot of trust here. He would place his bet on him. What does the founder of the heavens want Yuan to do? The elder asked. I want you to help me with the trial, Lu replied directly. Is this the founder's secret vault? I'm here for the first time. They were in a circular, one-story building. Inside, there was only one vast room. Painted on the dome above was a celestial star map. The room had no furniture, chairs, tables, or clothing. Its height was about 35 to 40 meters. The founder's secret vault, the treasures of the vault, are not here. They are stored on the other side. You must pass through a magical field, Yuan explained. He approached one of the walls, placed his hand on it, unlocking a portal. Each treasure has limitations, but with the spellboard, you may be able to get what you wish for. However, Master Lu, even though the authority of the spellboard is great, you must choose carefully. Yuan threw him a small bamboo scroll that would allow him to pass through. Thank you, Mr. Yuan, for the reminder, Lu said, finding himself on the other side of the building in an even more spacious chamber. Like the previous room, it had no furnishings, just a beautifully decorated floor, ceiling, and walls. The room was bathed in a beautiful, soft, sun-yellow light. Choice? Lu was not sure how to proceed. You really need to choose. He took out the spellboard. Come to me. He didn't know the exact words for a summon, but he didn't need them. Small, yellow, fire-like orbs swarmed around him from all sides, giving him time to examine them. The quickest way to improve one's cultivation is to take pills. However, there is a limit to the perfection of medicine, or else the system will be unstable, and you cannot advance to the next level. In addition to the deception technique, which is highly significant, system tasks can lead to rapid success. It's a pity that there's no deception technique here, and there are currently no chances of obtaining it in the restricted area. Lu continued to examine the orbs. Suddenly, a system notification came. Ancient strange objects detected. Remnants of a wandering Buddhist monk. Absorb? Indeed, there are. Not only did the system indicate that these would be suitable for him, but it also singled them out among the other orbs. Absorb. Chapter 7. Lu continued to examine the orbs flying around him. Another orb caught his attention. As it landed on his hand, the orb's shell disintegrated, leaving a small mirror. System notification. Remnants of clouds detected after absorption. Evil luck increased by 27. Heavenly stone 1. Absorb? Yes. No. Absorb! Confidently nodding, he tossed it up. The object turned into a small, transparent, fiery sphere, approached his forehead, and gradually dissolved, merging into his body. System notification. You have absorbed the remnants of clouds. Received evil luck. 27. Heavenly stone. 1. In reality, these remnants gave him 27 points, and he spent 5 days at the summit. Lu tried to look at his reflection in the mirror, but soon realized that the item was useless now, as it had given him its power. He discarded it. In that case, 4 or 5 remnants can help him advance to the next level. It seems that the task of searching for ancient artifacts is indeed the best choice for him to increase his strength at the moment. Because of how Mu Junkyu works, he cannot peacefully improve. We need to hurry and absorb the ancient treasures of the clan, was the founder's conclusion. Meanwhile, at night, a small group of guys went on patrol in Suden Shui Men. Brother, someone from the clan recently died. Do you think it's safe to go out so late? Anxiously asked one of them, glancing around. Hey, listen, you're a monk too. Cultivating your chi, how can you be so timid? Another decided to shame him. If the killer dares to come out tonight, it would be great. Let him try. When he meets me during the night patrol, I'll sacrifice my life, but I'll punish him. This guy didn't know that the head of the guy walking behind him had already been separated from his body. Did you even understand what I said? He decided to continue. Li, His corpse fell on the pavement. The night passed, morning came, and it became day. Please leave us as soon as possible. Yuan has something important to tell you. Gathering quickly, the founder hurried to the elder, but the elder had already come to him. Elder Yuan? The second level. It's only been 3 days, and he's already reached this level. Even if he was taking pills, the fact that he continuously raised his level indicates that he has a good foundation. It seems like this time, I made the right choice. Yuan was still not used to marveling at Lu's spiritual growth. Elder Yuan, what's happening? You even came to me personally? One thing is afraid that the Heavenly Clan will have to reveal itself to solve this issue. Walking side by side, they descended the stairs in the garden. Suden Shuiman, one of the subsidiary clans, seems to be planning to leave us and join the Styx River clan, Lu Yuan informed. Where did you hear this news? From Xingchatan. Lu still didn't fully understand what all this could mean, as he had only recently taken on the role of the founder and was still learning to be one, and already such problems. First, I heard that several disciples were brutally killed in Suden Shuiman, and Xingchatan suspected that someone from the Styx clan was secretly involved. I wanted to conduct an investigation, but Suden Shuiman found a pretext to stop it and refused to cooperate. Yuan took out a map, spreading it on the table in the gazebo. Instead of the usual cities, specific areas were marked on it, each corresponding to a particular clan. The Constellation Clan, the Golden Sword Clan, the Clan of Heavenly Lands, the Styx River Clan, the Tai Hao Clan, the Cloud Clan, and the Fire Clan. The Styx River Clan is one of the 8 major clans of the floating continent, practicing dark arts and always hostile to the Heavenly Kingdom. If the murderer is hiding inside, Suden Shuiman should have no reason to refuse our help. They walked together along the garden paths. Thus, we suspect that both Suden Shuiman and the Styx clan are conspiring. When was Suden Shuiman a member of my clan? He recently remembered the swallowed object, a magical weapon made from remnants of cloud water, which was given to Suden Shuiman. Suden Shuiman has belonged to us for 300 years, and they have always been loyal. But after Master Zhou ascended and left, Yuan tried to say the next part as gently and delicately as possible. They heard that one of the juniors became the founder of the clan, and they were concerned that the Heavenly Clan had fallen. The strength of Suden Shuiman was the first to be used in the subsidiary clan. Clan Master Sun Yuan is a cultivator of the 8th level, although he is not much better than our Heavenly Clan. But after Master Zhou's ascension, our power has significantly diminished. After the other 7 clans start fighting, it will be very difficult to maintain our position as the head of the 8 major clans. They all walked, strolling, occasionally stopping to look at each other's faces. The elders will discuss this issue, and if they notice that the founder can visit Suden Shuiman without any problem, while showing little talent, it will show that the future is for the Heavenly Clan. I think the head of the Sun Clan is very well informed about current affairs, Yuan concluded. Haha, even if Suden Shuiman weren't rebels, Mu Junkyu would find a pretext to interrupt my practice, but Suden Shuiman. Lu's thoughts swarmed in my head. It's not too late yet. Let's go, the founder decided. The day in Suden Shuiman was coming to an end. The sun was setting behind the horizon, and the first stars were appearing in the sky. Sun Yuan, a cultivator of the 9th level, came out to greet the guests, frowning fiercely. Behind him, disciples gathered, whispering fervently. I heard he's only 18 years old. He's a handsome guy. His biography says that the new founder of the clan will be to the east of Suden Shuiman. I don't know what kind of person he'll be. He's here. It was visible that the master was trying to concentrate as much as possible and tensing up. From the sky, with noise and wind in all its glory, a huge dragon descended, slightly slowing down at the top of the mountain. My God, this is a 3rd-level water dragon, comparable to the Golden Realm. As expected, of the Heavenly Clan. Spectral beasts of the 3rd level are used as mounts. What a luxury. Well, the founder of the Heavenly Island managed to make a first impression. The water dragon shimmered with pale blue scales in the last rays of the sun. It circled several times above the main building, catching the enthusiastic glances of those around. And finally, they appeared. The Heavenly Island clan. Sun Yuan silently studied them, observing from below. The Heavenly Clan, Lu noticed. This man is the owner of the Heavenly Hall, He Hua, a cultivator of the 9th level. He is stronger than me. I am definitely not a match in terms of combat power. He turned his gaze to Su'er and Xinyu, who were proudly standing a little behind the founder. Both guardians are amazingly talented girls. And so, this young man is the new founder of the Heavenly Kingdom, Lu Chen. He was a little surprised, but most importantly, he didn't think anything bad or unpleasant. Meanwhile, the guests walked into the Xuan Shuimen living room. The room itself was entirely made of wood, as were the decorative items and furniture. But there was also a place for iron here. It was present in moderation on the ceiling, supporting columns, beams, and in various seals and emblems hanging on household items. The guests had barely set foot in Xuan Shuimen and entered the living room when they were already being discussed. He advanced in cultivation and founded his sect at the age of 18, and he indeed possesses the talent of a Zhou master. Yes. Ha ha ha. Yes. Some who succeeded Zhou. But soon, Xuan Shuimen's deputy master, Hunya, a 6th-level cultivator, offered the newcomers. Master Lu, this is the divine elixir of the Xuan Shuimen clan, which has been preserved for 300 years. It can enhance your life force. I propose that the master have a glass. His face, like Sun Yuan's, had furrowed brows. Although it wasn't clear what he felt towards Lu Chen, Xuan Shuimen was outwardly polite and never talked about business. This time, Lu made a peaceful visit to Xuan Shuimen, and also displayed his position to the other dependent clans, not to use force to suppress others. Therefore, Yuan Jianhai sent only He Hua to accompany Lu in case Chen still needed to sort things out. Let's drink. Lu raised a glass and drank it to the last drop. But how can we break through their defense? The founder never stopped thinking for a moment. Father! The sudden appearance of a disciple in the living room with an exceptionally loud cry was almost accompanied by the drink entering Lu's airways. Fortunately, it didn't happen, and he just silently stared at the breathless boy. The boy continued, Father, it's terrible. Something happened to the disciple who just arrived. Chapter 8. The young man finally exhaled and scanned the people in the room. He was dressed in a brown kimono, with the top half of his hair tied in a bun on his head, while the lower half remained loose. He looked like all the other disciples. Sun Yuan's younger son, Sun Tianlin, had the 4th level of qi. A little way from him stood Sun Yuan's older son, Jiang He, a 9th level cultivator. Is this your son? Lu didn't understand why this question was asked, as it was already clear that they were related. Rascal! The Heavenly Kingdom's founder is here, and you still dare to cause trouble. The master scolded his son. Jiang He, quickly send your younger brother back, he ordered his older son. Brother, let's go. But he was about to take him away, but the younger one hesitated because he believed that they should resolve the situation now and likely take some safety measures. Wait! Lu raised his hand as a protest. Sun Yuan looked at him in confusion. I didn't come here to be received as an honored guest. But would it be a sin if you postponed something important for your family due to festivities and merriment? He addressed the sect's master. Let him finish. Xuan Shuimen belongs to the heavens. If your clan has problems, how can I sit idly by? The question was rhetorical, not requiring an answer. Father, Tianlin tried to explain why he had come. Speak, Lu almost ordered. Yes. Just now, under unexplained circumstances, another disciple died. The younger son reported. Huh. Another disciple? The sect leader? Head of the Sun clan. What is he talking about? The founder turned to Sun. It's trivial. You deal with much more important matters every day. It's trivial. Yuan tried to downplay the situation. Trivial? Chen's face darkened. The lives of disciples are in danger and you think it's trivial? Almost shouting in anger, Lu exclaimed. That's not what I meant. Sun tried to justify himself. Enough. Mr. Sun, I don't want to hear your excuses. The founder stood up from the table, with Shui, Xinyu, and He Hua following. I need to see it with my own eyes. His decision was unwavering. Apparently, Sun Yuan didn't want to let them into the inner affairs. But, looking at and feeling the strength of Lu Hehua standing behind him, he agreed. As you wish, Founder Lu. In front was Sun Tianlin showing the way. After a few blocks, he stopped in front of the door of the house. Is this it? Lu asked. Yes, Founder Lu. The body is inside. The interior of the room was completely dark, and only a thin line of light shone through the door's crack from the outside, illuminating the room. The smell of death hung in the air, mingling with the nauseating scent of blood. Lu pulled the door handles toward himself. What is this? Sun Tianlin was surprised by something. The body had been dismembered. The deceased had a frozen mask of horror on his face. An open mouth, eyes almost popped out, tongue sticking out, and disheveled hair. Lu stood in the middle of the door, partially obstructing the gruesome scene. Brother Lu... Fan didn't really want Chen to go there, but there was nothing he could do about it. Lu went inside, sat down on the cards, examining the deceased. Is this what you call a death under mysterious circumstances? The body has been dismembered, and the work of a professional is clearly visible, right? Lu tried to piece together the events. When I arrived, everything was different, Sun swore. Guards, did you see anyone enter here? He asked the two guys standing guard. Huh? No, we didn't see anyone. They shook their heads. Brother, they've just begun perfecting their qi. They wouldn't have detected the killer's presence unless he wanted otherwise. Zhang He, the younger brother, pointed out the mistake. All right, this is my fault. I wanted it to be better, but it turned out as always. Sun turned away to hide his face, burning with shame. Founder Lu, did you find anything? Their father asked behind the sons. The body is too badly mutilated. I can't determine the cause of death. Lu replied and turned to Master He Hua. Everything happened just as the killer wished. Lu concluded. What should we do? Sun Yuan voiced the question that everyone had in mind. Ha ha ha, Mr. Sun. Don't be so impatient. The founder rose. If my assumptions are correct, the killer will begin to act tonight. He made his judgment based on some facts that were only known to him. Lu Chen said he knows about our plans for today. Did he see something? In the basement, a torch burned with blue flame. Two figures in black cloaks and masks conversed. How is this possible? He's just a child who has barely reached the second level. How could he suspect anything? Let Lu Chen spy on the younger son and extract information from him. The mask concealed the face of the person who spoke these words, but it didn't hide the slippery, abnormal gleam in their eyes. Xiao Xiao. They provided rooms for guests. Lu sat on the bed in a lotus position, contemplating the system. Since he had started studying the basics, he could postpone his task related to the solar element, which was more convenient. But the accumulated power. He was almost certain it would be powerful. But suddenly, he was intrigued and even a little frightened by an external sound from the courtyard. Lu was already scared and prepared for the worst-case scenario, sabotage by Sun Yuan. Stealthily, Chen looked out into the street and saw none other than Xing Yu. Around her, the fallen leaves had not yet fully settled. Sister Xiao, what are you doing? He asked her, calming down. He Hua went to spy on Sun Yuan, and Fan Shuer left to gather information. Why should I guard you? To not waste time, she decided to practice. I'm upset. How could you let her go? She didn't understand why he had chosen her to guard him. Lu just imagined her spying on Qing Yu and extracting information from the younger son. Speak quickly. Is that you? This option was unsuitable in this situation, so he sent Shuir. The older sister's level was still low, and she had more important matters at night, so she needed to ask the mentor for a favor. Think of the sun, and there's the ray. Fan Shuir ran to Lu with all her might. I blame myself for not having a high enough level, and I can't carry out many assignments. The younger sister sighed. Huh? You're here? I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. Lu began to apologize. I was talking to Sun Tianlin. He's a regular student with nothing suspicious. Fan changed the topic. We also found out the identities of the previous deceased. I checked them all but couldn't find a pattern. She handed Chen a book. However, Xuan Yueman might have intentionally concealed crucial information. Not that Fan had eavesdropped, but Lu's words had hurt her a bit, and now she stood slightly turned away from him. They were all at the stage of perfecting their qi or learning the basics. Gu Feng, student, qi perfection, 9th level. Fu Yin, student. Qi perfection, 9th level. Fai Chou, basic study, 1st level. Wang Defa, cousin of the follower. Basic study, 4th level. Xiao Kuo, second student of Hun Ya. Basic study, 6th level. Han Lan, student of Xin Lang. Studying the basics, level 6. Chen diligently reviewed the information. Sister Xiao. He turned to Qing Yu, not saying a word, but seemingly trying to communicate with his eyes. It's up to you now. However expressive his eyes were, Xiao still didn't understand. Lu Chen is a fool. He said he would give me a more important task, and in the end, I'm guarding the hall with the deceased. Qing Yu was indignant, but she had nothing else to do. Night descended on Xuan Shuimen. The moon would appear and disappear from the clouds. So, but it's all right. This clearly shows his cowardice. Xiu continued to express her disapproval. Suddenly, both lit candles in the room went out, leaving a bitter scent. This unsettled and alarmed her a bit, but drawing her sword from its sheath restored her unwavering confidence. Whoever pretends to be a demon here, don't think I'm just a qi-cultivating nun. She addressed someone hidden in the darkness. Squeak. The coffin lid opened. Thanks to the binding ropes, the coffin closed. A hand emerged from the dead box. Well, it didn't exactly emerge. It shattered the coffin lid. In an instant, a resurrected corpse with glowing red eyes rose, losing pieces of its body on its way to the stunned Qing Yu. This is not like what it was during the day. How could this happen? The girl tried to understand what was happening. With a wild scream, the reanimated corpse rushed at her. It's just a corpse. What can it do to me? Xiao thought, summoning her jade shield for protection. You'd think such a potent spell would disarm the undead opponent, but when it touched the shield, it shattered the defense. No! The energy turned against her, throwing her back, but she held her ground, regenerated, slowed her fall, and stood up. See? This creature has the strength to resist my technique. Nevertheless, she was ready for battle once more. Emitting inhuman sounds from its throat, the corpse continued to advance. Ugh! Monster! Xiao didn't retreat. This time she used a more powerful technique, the art of the Jade Spirit Sword. Suffer! This should definitely put the creature back into eternal slumber, if only. The energies of both clashed, causing a small explosion, and Xiao was sent flying out of the resting building. In the best-case scenario, she would have several fractures and plenty of bruises, and the monster would definitely catch up to her. Fortunately, in mid-flight, Lu caught Qing Yu. For the first time in their entire acquaintance, she was glad to see him. Doesn't what's happening mean that when you can't handle something, your spell dissipates and calls for help?